All right, so what we're doing is we're going on our first road trip with the new Hummer EV SUV, and there's two things I want to check. Number one, how does it charge at SuperChargers, as well as how does it navigate to chargers? How easy is that? How does that whole system work? I already picked up my NACS to CCS adapter, so we have that, which is good. So we can hit up and go to the Tesla SuperChargers. And also I want to check out Super Cruise. I want to see how Super Cruise does on this about 850 mile road trip. So let's go ahead and get inside. Let's go ahead and look at the navigation. Let's see what it tells us as far as charging stops and where they want us to go. And then we'll hit the road. So first of all, I apologize for the glare, but as you can see, I already charged to 100% in anticipation for this road trip. And it's telling me I'm getting 350 miles. I know GM advertises the Hummer EV as 315 miles. So that's really intriguing that it's actually giving me more mileage, or estimating at least more mileage than what GM advertises. So that's really cool. But now let's go ahead and put in the address where we need to go and see what type of charging stops it gives us, where it wants us to go. Because I want to go to SuperChargers. The reason for that is because at SuperChargers, they're fast, they're reliable, and there's plenty of them. Electrify America, EVgo, some of those, they may be great, but when they work. So let's go ahead and go to the navigation. I want to go ahead and put in our destination, which is Walnut Creek Marriott. And as you see, it's saying that we need to stop to charge. It's actually telling us 3 stops, but let's look at where they want us to go. Electrify America, and there is one SuperCharger. Well, I'm sorry, Electrify America, I don't want to go to Electrify America. So I want to see if I can alter any of this. Yeah, so I can't really alter anything here, at least that I can see. If you guys are more familiar with the Hummer EV and their navigation system, please leave a comment and let me know how to do that. But I did kind of mess around with the app, so let me show you on the app. I can bypass some of these locations and actually pick a SuperCharger instead of Electrify America. So let me go ahead and show you that. Okay, as you can see here, I already have the address put into the navigation, and you can see that it wants me to go to Quality Inn in Kettleman. Well, I know that there's a SuperCharger in Kettleman City, so what I'm going to do is just click on this, and I can go to Nearby, and you can see there's a SuperCharger there, and you can select Charge Here instead. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I can send this navigation to the vehicle, and then it'll be in the navigation. So let me go ahead and do all that, and then we'll check out what the navigation's saying. I was able to adjust the charging location in the app and send it to the car. And so now it's telling me that I'm going to get there with about 13%, and it's going to take us 3.5 hours roughly to get there. So let's go ahead and check this out, and I'll give you an update once we get there. Okay, so I want to enable Super Cruise for the first time on this road trip. Now, I've done it a few times in the past, so I think I have a pretty good handle on how this works. So unlike FSD, you can't just get on an on-ramp, or even when you're, obviously in your driveway, just enable FSD and it just starts taking you. You have to wait till you're on the highway. What I usually do is, if I'm driving, for a little bit on the highway, like I am now, you enable cruise control by pressing this button. Now you can see the icon down there. There's a steering wheel. That steering wheel tells you that Super Cruise is available. So now if I hit the Super Cruise button, which is this one, it should enable. So it's blue. Okay, now it's green, telling me that we are in Super Cruise. So as you can see, my feet are off the pedals, my hands are off the steering wheel. This little camera in here is watching me, making sure that I'm paying attention, looking straight. And as you can see, there's the indicators. They're all green, letting us know that we're in Super Cruise. And then I can use this button here to change the speed. So I can go up to 80 miles per hour, and we're driving with Super Cruise. So what I want to do on this long road trip is kind of just see a roundabout percentage of how much I'm using Super Cruise, because I do know that it disengages from time to time. And so I want to see how many times it does that and kind of give an estimate of percentage-wise how much of the road trip I'm actually able to use Super Cruise. We know FSD, I'd be able to use it the whole drive with no real interruptions, and so that's a real benefit to FSD. But let's now see what Super Cruise can do on a long road trip. Okay, so we made it to the Kettleman City SuperCharger, and I just want to show some stats here. Unfortunately, the Hummer doesn't give us a lot of information like a Tesla would, but it does give us some information. So as you can see here, we traveled 213.5 miles, and our total energy used was 148.2 kilowatt hours. You could see what kind of used that energy. Obviously, 98% of that was driving, 2% was climate and battery conditioning. We are currently at roughly 17% or so. It's saying that we have about 45 miles. Here's our efficiency numbers. Driving through the hills kind of killed that number for us. The good news is the rest of the drive today should be flat, so that number should stay the same or maybe even increase a little bit. We want to go ahead and charge. I think it said we only needed to charge for about 15 minutes or so until we get to our next SuperCharger location. There's an In-N-Out just right here in the Kettleman City. And so I'm going to go eat. Probably take us about 30 to 45 minutes to eat. So we should get a good charge here and then be able to hit the road and probably cancel out one of the stops. It's saying that we needed 3 stops for this drive. I think we can get that down to 2, maybe even just 1. This may be the only stop if we can get to 100%, but it's all based off of how long the line is at In-N-Out, how long that's going to take us to eat, and then, how far we're going to get. So let's go ahead and get charged up. I'm going to show you guys how to use the NACS to CCS adapter. Really simple, but I'll show you guys that process and then get it plugged in. Oh, also, I want to show you guys the process of charging at a SuperCharger, a Tesla SuperCharger. I do it through the app. You can do it, I believe, if you could just plug in and go. But you have to do some other steps that I think is kind of a little bit more complicated in my personal opinion. But I don't know. This is all new to me. So let me go ahead and show you guys that process through the app. So I'm not sure if you could see there, but we're at 12D. Okay, so that's important to know. Now what I'm going to do, we're going to go to charge your other EV. It's going to know that we're here at the Kettleman City, as you see there. We're going to click charge here, and then our number was 12D. So we just need to go to 12D right here. 12D. And then now let's go get it plugged in. So now it's all plugged in. Sorry, I was fumbling around with that a little bit, but as you can see, it's giving us all our stats here. We're at 17%. It's telling us what our charging rate is, how much it's costing us, and all that good stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and go get something to eat, and then we'll come back once we're done and see where we ended up. All right, so we're done eating. It's been about 30 minutes since we plugged in to charge. We've gone from 17% to 50%, put in a total of 63 kilowatt hours. Our charging rate has dropped slightly to 122 kilowatts. As you can see, the charging fee so far is about $29. There's a few reasons why I prefer the Tesla SuperCharge network. Main reason is for reliability, right? They're, in my personal opinion, the most reliable charging infrastructure in the world. Another thing is they're massive, usually, especially on these long road trips. I mean, I think Kettleman City has like 55 charging stations when there's Electrify America, I think down the street from here, and there's like 4. So that makes a big deal. So you're not worried about showing up to the charging station and having to wait. Typically at a Tesla SuperCharger, there's plenty of space, there's plenty of stalls available. So that's an important thing. But then where Tesla's really killing it right now when it comes to charging EVs is the fact that they have, for non-Tesla owners, they have what they're calling a membership. So I believe it's like $12 with tax and all that. It comes out to like $14 a month. But you're getting essentially 25% off the fees that they would normally charge you if you weren't a member. So when you're going on a long trip, or if you do frequent long trips like myself, that really helps because 25% off the fees, and when you're charging 2, 3, 4 times on a road trip, it all adds up. So that's something that's really nice. If I would have went to Electrify America, I wouldn't have got that discount, that 25% discount. They'd probably be charging me somewhere around 50 to 70 cents per kilowatt hour. So for me, I just look at it and I go, I charged at an EVgo station a few days ago, and I think it was like 69 cents per kilowatt, which is crazy to me. I think here right now, I think I'm being charged about 46 cents. Those are the reasons why I prefer the Tesla supercharging network: reliability, ease of access, so many stalls at these charging locations. And then because I'm a member now, I'm getting 25% off of the rate. Look at those guys. Now those are the old school Hummers. That's cool. I wonder if they're coming to charge. Overall, super happy so far on this 3.5 hour drive with the Hummer EV. Like I said, first time doing a long drive like this, but overall, really happy. What I'm going to do is we have the rest of the drive, about another 3.5 hours. Hopefully we eliminated at least one charging stop. I think we're going to have to do one more, but originally it was saying 3. I think now we could probably get away with only doing 2. I hope, because I don't want to stop the third time if I don't need to, but we'll look at that right now. And then we'll get going on the rest of our journey. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to kind of go over my whole experience on this road trip with the Hummer EV, as well as my charging station. I'm going to show you guys all of the stats for each charging session that I made on this trip, as well as my experience, because I did stop at one EVgo charger, and I just kind of want to share what that experience was like and how that compares to the Tesla supercharging network. So let's go ahead and get into my charging sessions, each individual one, and then kind of go over those stats. Okay, so as you can see here, the Kettleman City charging stop, which was the one that was in the video earlier. As you can see here, I put in almost 102 kilowatt hours. It took us about 48 minutes to charge, and the cost was $46.73. This charging stop did eliminate one of the charging stops that the Hummer had originally told me that I was going to have to do. So originally it said I was going to have to stop 3 times. I only needed to stop twice because I did stop and eat at the In-N-Out, and I was able to let the vehicle charge a little bit longer. The next stop was in Patterson, California, and that was a little less than 82 kilowatt hours put back into the truck.
42 minutes to charge, and it was $36. Like I said, I didn't need to charge again. I was able to get to Walnut Creek at this point. I was able to drive that whole weekend in Walnut Creek, but before we did leave, I had to stop and charge so we can come back home. So what we did is we stopped for lunch and we allowed the truck to charge for 55 minutes. And as you can see here, it was a little less than 82 kilowatt hours and a little less than $45 to charge. We had another stop at another Tesla supercharger in Coalinga that was about 92 kilowatt hours, 47 minutes, $42.50. One thing you're going to notice is that the charging session times are a little bit longer than I would want them to be, but I'm going to kind of go into that right now once we go over my last stop, which was at EVgo. So what ended up happening is once we were getting closer to home, we needed to stop to charge, and the EVgo came up through the navigation as the closest and most convenient location. There was 4 stalls at this EVgo location, and 2 of them were out. And then we kind of ran into a little bit of an issue where there was a Rivian R1S there, and I really do believe that these people were new to EVs and new to EV charging etiquette, because there was another gentleman waiting because the 2 charging stalls were occupied. And in talking with him, he said that the Rivian had been there for quite some time. So I walked up to them and I just kind of wanted to talk to them and see where they were at in their charging and how much longer they were planning on staying there. So one thing I noticed was they were at 99%. And they were outside of their Rivian. They were just kind of hanging out, waiting for it to get to 100 when there was 2 people waiting in line. So that kind of really told me that they're new to EV, they're new to charging and the etiquette that goes into that, because you shouldn't be sitting there at 99% when there's people waiting. I mean, at 90%, you shouldn't be sitting there anymore. You should just take off, because if you own an EV, anything past really like 80%, especially into the 90s, it slows down big time. And so if you're at 99%, it's super slow. It's going to take a while for that to finish off. And so at that point, it's best to unplug and leave. So they were very nice. I talked to them. They unplugged and they took off. I actually have some video from that EVgo charger, so I kind of want to show you guys that as well. So you can see here, this is the charger that the Rivian was at, and the one right there to the left that I pointed at, that one was unavailable. And so there was 2 charging stalls there, and I'm going to go ahead and show you now. The other 2 were right here. The one on the left was unavailable as well. That gentleman was in line. Very, very nice guy. I want to go back to the stats on the EVgo charging session. You can see I was there for 25 minutes. We put in 40 kilowatt hours, and it cost about $30.73. So if you do the math on that, it's very expensive. That's one thing I've learned, is that the EVgo, Electrify America, they're very expensive. So that also then goes into my other point of using SuperChargers, because if you're a member, you get that discount. And so a lot of things that make sense. But here's one thing I will say, that when you're using the Tesla superchargers, something that I learned now, I noticed that my charging sessions were very long. And I know the Hummer has a big battery, and I know that's going to play a part into why it takes a little bit longer to charge the Hummer. But I went on Reddit because I kind of wanted to find out from other Hummer EV owners why that is. Why, when I go to the Tesla supercharger, why is it not getting past 150 kilowatt charging speeds? Because that's, in my experience, especially on this road trip, I'm not getting past 150 kilowatts. And I know the Hummer can charge faster than that, and I know that the superchargers can charge faster than that. So once again, I went on Reddit and I found out from the community that unfortunately right now, the superchargers and the Hummer, their communication do not allow them to pass 150 kilowatts. So they advise that if you want faster speeds, you have to go to EVgo, you have to go Electrify America, one of those other charging networks. So I think what I'm going to want to do in an upcoming video is kind of test that out. I want to go to EVgo or Electrify America, do a whole charging session, maybe from like 20 to 80, see what that looks like. then get back down to 20, and then go to a SuperCharger and do the same thing, and just kind of compare them of the speeds that I'm getting and how quickly it's charging, and just to provide that information, because obviously when you're on a long road trip, you kind of want those charging sessions to not be as long, but at the same time you want the reliability. So there's kind of a dilemma here. Kind of dive a little bit deeper into that, and I'll put that in an upcoming video. Now, in regards to my experience with the Hummer EV, I know I mentioned at the beginning of the video, I wanted to test Super Cruise. I wanted to see how that worked in regards to my experiences with FSD, because I've done the same road trip with FSD in the Cybertruck, and now I was able to do it to Super Cruise. So this is what I'll say. Super Cruise did great. I had very, very minimal interruptions with Super Cruise because I'm going through the Grapevine. If you're familiar with that drive, it's pretty much a straight shot. Not a lot of turns, not a lot of changing freeways or anything like that. So Super Cruise did great. Really no issues. It really helped with driver fatigue. So I was very happy with it. Is it FSD? No. I think FSD is much sharper, handles the road and the other drivers around you better than Super Cruise, but I think Super Cruise did a great job. That's another video I want to do. I want to compare Super Cruise to different levels of autopilot. I know it doesn't compare to FSD, but I want to compare it to, say, hardware 2, hardware 3 autopilot, and kind of see how it compares. So that's going to be something that I'm probably going to be doing here soon. But overall, I felt like Super Cruise was great for this road trip. I felt like the Hummer was great. It's very spacious, very roomy. My family was comfortable. I was comfortable. We're able to get all of our luggage, everything that we needed on this trip into it, and still have plenty of space. So for the first road trip, very, very pleased, very happy. And at the end of the day, so far, so good. I'm very happy with my decision to get the Hummer. I'm really enjoying it so far. I have so many videos coming up. I want to do some off-roading, camping. I want to do some towing with it. So those are all videos that will be upcoming soon. And I just want to tell you guys that I really appreciate all of you who have stuck with me. I know originally all my content was Cybertruck related, but unfortunately, as you guys know, the issues that I had, I now transitioned to the Hummer EV, and I'm happy so far. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. I appreciate you watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.